folks. I didn't see you there. Welcome to LinkedIn Live. And as you can tell by that intro and that countdown, we got a fun one ahead. This will not disappoint. And I want to jump straight into it. My guest today, I'm Mark Stabina, by the way. In case you didn't know, you're on my page. You might also be on our guests' channels, hopefully. This is going out into the ether. And we're going to drop some truth bombs, some golden nuggets. And like I said, I want to do it immediately. Our guest today, Amber J. Lawson. So Amber J., who's a dear friend, is a luminary in change, entrepreneurship, and emotional intelligence. She has a background as a former international media executive, an Emmy nominee, an entrepreneur, and she passionately trains Olympic athletes, career-driven mothers, entrepreneurs like herself, and CEOs in the art of change through harnessing the emotional intelligence and also liberation and joy. You're about to see the joy that this woman emanates. Her infectious enthusiasm and determination provide the catalyst for divine inspiration. That's Amber J's word, divine inspiration and meaningful change, which is what we are about to talk about today. Welcome to the LinkedIn Live stage, Amber J. Lawson.
Yeah,
we need the song again. We need the song.
I know. Where's my song? I don't give up.
What did we... Okay, so Amber J., let's bring attention to the consistency of our title today and your appearance. So we've got half of your hair, a shock of blonde, the other half coming in hot pink, sunnies on the head. Clearly, this is a woman who doesn't give an F. Am I right?
I don't give a fuck.
There it is. Okay. So that's our title today. Among many other things and many other topics that you are an expert in, we felt that this is a really, especially at this time of year, right? People are having their New Year's resolutions and new year, new me, all that kind of stuff. So I think it speaks into that where people are either reinventing or they're taking stock, really going inward and seeing how they're living their life and how they're showing up. And this is on LinkedIn as well. So we're going to talk about that in the context of the workplace. So let's talk more about our zero fucks era. There, I said it.
Whoa, see, even saying it has a response in our bodies. And it's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It is not blowing up our lives. There are things that we care about. What we are talking about we're talking about is the invisible rules we follow, the things that we think we're supposed to, that we should all over ourselves be caring about and spending our time when it really isn't in alignment with who and what we are. But the thing that happens, in my experience, is as a woman entering your 40s, 50s, and 60s, this is my zone of genius, working with women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, going through change in their career, their relationships, and aging. And everybody has this awareness. It is, frankly, the patriarchy. It impacts men and women and non-binary alike. And when we have the awareness, the clarity, when we slow down long enough to know what we want, then we can take action and clear out all the shoulds, clear out all the things, the invisible rules we're following. And that, my friend, is entering your no fucks era.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I want to dive
because you couldn't say it.
You're right. I need to enter my zero fucks era. I mean, we like to say and we like to think that we're in it in certain ways, but you talked about the invisible rules. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Like, what has people so afraid or stuck following the status quo and not being in their zero Fs era?
Well, there's a couple things. One is it's 4 areas that invisible rules fall into. And so in my Women on Fire program, when I go into corporate businesses and I meet with the C-suite, the leadership team, we look at what are the impacts of my upbringing, my culture, that are the lens in which I look at making decisions. Because we're all human beings. We all have a lived life experience, and we come to whatever table we're at, whether it's the boardroom table or the kitchen table, with a lens of inputs from experiences outside of ourselves that we've congealed into how we walk through life. And those 4 areas are religion, education, our pop culture, and I don't know why I'm forgetting the last one. It'll come to me. Pop culture, religion, education, and family. Yeah, family. Hello, family. So these are the 4 areas. And so we have like a list that we go through of like, am I supposed to be the smartest person in the class? Am I supposed to excel at everything in life? And I know that this is something that I took on. I took it on when I was in high school and I didn't make cheerleader the first year. I was like, well, then if I'm not cheerleader, I am going to have the longest accolades in the back of the book. Right. And I had to be great at everything. Now I was cheerleader the next year. In fact, I won Spirit Queen, but that's all. I mean, you can't deny this. This is coming out. But so those are the invisible rules we follow are what our parents, our religion, society, and our family puts on, our education puts on us. And I'm not putting this as fault either, right? We only know what we know. Our parents, our educators only knew what they knew, and it was for what they saw as the betterment of us, for us to succeed in society, for us to succeed in corporate America, which is very brilliant segue into where we're going next. Thank you very much. But and is that mine? That's really what the no fucks era is. Like untwining what is your parents or society, religion, or education, and choosing what is your truth, what you actually want, not your partner, not your boss. What is true for you? And this is so important in any work environment because we need other points of view when we are creating product. Otherwise, we are making it for one segment and it can hurt other people. Mm-hmm. A woman is a great example of that. The seatbelt was developed for a man. It can harm a woman to wear a seatbelt. Mm-hmm. Now it's better than not wearing a seatbelt, but like we have these, we have different equipment. And that goes for doctor visits and clothes, and it runs the gamut of everything. So in the lenses in which we look at things, the invisible rules we are following, choosing what I want, my truth.
Well said. Well said. So you mentioned corporate America, and I want to speak into that a little bit more about the environment, right? So you talked about the invisible rules. You talked about what it means to break free from what people think we should be doing, how we should be behaving, what we should believe, what we put on ourselves according to those rules and society. And that's very prevalent and has been obviously in corporate America. Let's use that as an example, but the workplace in general. Now it is changing. You also talked about the patriarchy. Tell us a little bit more about, and I think that also goes for why people feel like they can't rock the boat. People feel like, oh, well, that's all well and good, Amber J. I'm glad you're in your no fucks era, but I can't do that in my job or in my position or in my role. So why is that? And how do we get to a place where people do feel safer to liberate themselves from the status quo?
I'm glad you asked, Mark. If you make me full screen, I'm going to go in. Now, this may be a little woo-woo, so hang on for just a second. And I'm going to tell you, millionaires follow the stock market, billionaires follow the stars. So we just entered, Pluto just entered Aquarius. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. What that means for you is we were in Capricorn. Capricorn is top down structures, patriarchy, rulers, my way or the highway, and then it trickles down to everybody else in the order of their importance, in the order of money, in the order of how we navigated the last 20 years. Frankly, 40 years. You can think of the 80s. It's a very good experience, a boom of that. And shoulder pad boom. And then now, so we're shifting that. We're flipping it on its head, and it's bottom up. So it's what's going to matter is community, communal thinking, communal needs, abundance for all. Technology will inform. So it's the AI revolution. And it is. The last time this happened was the American Revolution, the French Revolution. It is the AI revolution. And you will not succeed if you are not in community. So what we will see is the collapse of old systems. That includes our banking systems, like the financial. So when you talk about, I can't leave my job, I can't disrupt this corporate environment. And we were talking about this of the golden handcuffs of when I am in corporate, I can't speak my truth because I will rock potentially. The potential of rocking the boat, it creates fear that I might be kicked off the boat, right? And so I want to not rock the boat. I want to stay in the boat, and that means status quo. That means mediocrity. That means yesing, being a yes man, woman person to the leadership, which does not support the leadership, by the way. But you also have to be a conscious leader. And that's who I go in and work with, is shifting the lenses, the thought process of leaders. They're not coming after me. They're coming to help me. They're giving me insights and tools of what the actual buyers of my product want, need, or desire. So stop being a czar of what you think the people want. And listen, and that's the next 20 years. It's not going to happen overnight. And so, jumping ship from your job and burning the place down, not a Wednesday thing to do. But over time, you will see the shift of power, a power dynamic shift. And if you're a leader in a company and you are not aware of this and you are not embracing this, you will be the one off the boat.
I was just about to actually mention that.
I didn't know there was going to be a lot of boat analogies today, but here you go.
I like the boat. You don't want to miss the boat. And some people are missing the boat by not showing up. By the way, those that are, I see people coming in and out. Hi, welcome. Please add your comments in the chat section, your thoughts, questions. We're here to answer them. And this is a discussion, not just between Amber J and myself, but with all of you. Amber J, leadership, right? We talked about how it's changing. There's been a shift, and thanks to some leaders, that's happening. And it is a slow burn. But we can look at it from, okay, how do I as an employee enter into my zero F's era? We'll come back to that maybe, because I know you've got some great tips and and tools for people to get on that path, but leaders. So part of that environment that's being created is being created by a leader. When a founder or a group of founders start a company, do they have this in mind? Are they grounded in where they want the culture to go, and bearing in mind the safety that they get to create for their people to be able to speak their mind, to bring forward their challenges and their ideas and their innovations? It's starting to happen, but as you said, it's kind of two-pronged, isn't it? It's what we can do as an employee if we're not in a leadership role, but what we can do as a leader, a C-suite leader.
Here's the crazy thing. You can make something, you can have an idea and it take off like gangbusters, and you are not equipped to run a company. You are, it's so kind of nutballs that this is what we do in companies. You have success, and then all of a sudden you have a team underneath you, and you spend a large amount of your time managing that team. That is absolutely counterintuitive. That got you the success, that brought you to success. It is very weird that we do that in corporate structure. You think you're rewarding someone for their success, but really it is stifling them and having them develop a skill set that isn't necessarily what they're good at. And this is what we do with C-suite and leadership. Not all leaders in company structure are meant to lead. They're idea people. They're creators. And then we try to smush them into like, oh, you need to go be the spokesman out there, or you need to be the leader and motivate this company. Well, that may not be their skill set. And is that really serving the company? Is that serving the employees? There are other people who are better at that, of creating community, of fostering growth. It's a very feminine trait to foster and nurture people and build their new muscles, their new abilities. Doesn't sound like I, sit and I code all day. Different thing, right? And to put on, listen, it's all made up. Everything in our world is made up. So to put on that someone who created something that our world needed or liked or adopted or took on also has the skill set to be a great leader. Yes, it's developed over time, but that is why it's so key for people like you and me, Mark, to be in with these people. Like, they have trauma. They have mom, dad issues. We all got mom, dad issues. And we're bringing that into the boardroom. The lenses in which we create decisions. You see that in our politics right now, where men are making decisions for women's body. Stop it. Knock it off. Not yours.
Whoa, did we just take a whole different direction? Actually, look, I want to stay with this. I want to stay with this for a second, this corporate environment. And there's obviously many examples of where it can be broken. You're a great storyteller. You're a coach. You coach CEOs. You've been in many companies to help them with their organizational culture. Do you have a real life example for us that might kind of relate to people, and they'll be like, oh, that sounds like my work?
Are you talking about the one that I heard this morning?
Maybe.
Okay. So, yeah, a client coming to me, sharing. It's so the example, of the woo, of how this company is not on in the public market. It is fed by outside investors, and they projected certain numbers for the year, and they're not going to hit it. And so although they're making more profit year over year. So they're not losing money. In fact, they're making more money, just didn't hit the projection, right? Because like the inflation happened, whatever, right? There's like the ebb and flow of market happened. Although this segment is so flush with money, it is such a big market, and they have a huge piece of it. But because they didn't hit that, they are taking a massive chunk out of her budget. And I asked the question, what's enough? And it's either take a chunk out of her budget or people lose jobs. And the financiers would rather do either of those things to hit their numbers versus like just take the profit, not the obscene profit. And so it's just it's an example of like what's enough. It's an example of, you should watch this Ava DuVernay movie out. What's it called? Not Beyond. It's about the caste system, of like just the separation of haves and have-nots, and so they didn't fire all the people, which is good news, but that was on the table. And even though it's a biggest profitable year yet, when's enough? So that's a very good example of, and she can't speak into it. This person can't speak into it because she can't rock the boat. Now it'll come through other ways, right? That's what board members are for. That's why you have like power hitters in your corner, and you can speak freely with. But that is what's going to have to shift. Because how much? When's enough? Like how much can you take?
It reminds me of, I think, a quote I saw. Look, it was either Simon Sinek, who I love, or Adam Grant, who I love equally. It was one of those two that said exactly what you said. It's like when a company's going to choose to keep profits, keep people and cut profits, as opposed to keep profits.
I just saw that. People. I think that was yesterday. Exactly. When are we? Bring people over profits.
Speaking of people, okay, so let's.
You're gonna bring
it home. Bring it home. A lot of people watching that aren't necessarily in leadership roles, and those that are, back to the zero fucks era. For many to enter that stage and to not give an F. A lot of change needs to happen personally and individually, reprogramming of conditioning, as you mentioned, as we opened. And it can feel like an overwhelming, long journey. And because of that overwhelm, they'll remain where they are. What are some of your tips and maybe first steps that people can take to get them on the way to entering their zero F's era, Amber J?
So it starts with you. Like it's all inside of you. We all have it inside of ourselves. And it's trusting myself. It's taking time to turn inward, listen inward to that little voice inside and nurture it. And that may mean getting a coach. That may mean going and doing yoga or meditating or listening to binaural beats online, listening to Abraham, finding a place that gives you a little like opening. And when you hear it or you experience it, there's something in your body that goes, oh, I've been waiting to do this for a really long time. Oh, this feels like home. Oh, wow, I didn't know I needed this, and it's nourishing my soul. And so then we fan that flame, right? That flame, that spark I have a Spark program, Women on Fire. So, can't dad joke, can't help it. But fan that fire inside. And how we do that, I like to use the 3 C's: clarity, clearing, and committed action. When I slow down long enough, I get clear on what I truly want, need, or desire. And then I can speak into that directly with the person I am, or situation that I am stepping into. Clearing is clearing out any blocks, which is belief systems, doubt, fear, that can be in the way. That's our lenses. That's all the things, right? From having what we want, and then take the committed action. The 3rd C is committed action. So, and that doesn't have to be the to-do list. That is have a conversation. That is take a deeper cut at my meditation. Meditate for 10 minutes a day to get more downloads, more clarity, more of what my next move is. I met a woman the other night. She ran a very successful online business for 15 years. And in the past year, she's slowly dismounting from that and moving into art. She's like, what the fuck am I going to do with art? But she's like, this is what I'm called to do. That is a new era.
0 F's given there.
Exactly. I don't know how I'm going to make money. It is non-linear. And this is what my heart desires. This is what I'm actually called to do. This is the gift I am meant to give on the planet at this time. And here's the thing. We don't slow down, especially if we're busy working career moms or dads who have like lots of inputs in our lives, that I can just put one foot in front of the other. I can't even think about me because I'm putting so much on output. If you put all the output in when they all leave, because they all leave at some point, they're all gone. You don't get out of life alive. They go on to their lives, which is the whole point. We launch them into their lives. We leave a job, like by choice or by crook or whatever, right? And then you are a shell of who you are. Well, this is the sign. If you are looking for a sign, there isn't a signier sign than this. Knock it off. Stop it now and slow down and refill your cup. Get clear on who and what you want and desire in your life, and you will be a more desired human being. You will be a magnetic human being. When you're just a cog in the wheel, you're an expendable cog in the wheel. That was the end of my sermon. And that was my TED Talk.
Signiest sign I've ever seen. Powerful stuff, as always. And time's gone so quick. It always does with you, Amber J. I don't know how I'm ever going to keep these to 20 minutes. I think it's impossible. But we gave it a good nudge. We could keep going, but we're not. I'm going to cut you off. That was a mic drop moment. Yeah, but what I need to do is let the folks know how to find you, how to book you. You'd be crazy not to book this woman for a motivational talk, a coaching program, whatever you and or your company needs. How do we find you?
AmberJLawson.com. You have a ticker?
Seems pretty simple. So there it is.
Mark, is this?
And we're going to have it. Look at this fanciness. So this is news style. Click it. You can't click from the screen, but go type it in. Amber J's name, Amber J Lawson. Don't forget the J.com. And you'll get everything you need. It's a wonderful website for a wonderful human being, inspirational, doctor of change. What makes you a doctor of change before I let you go?
You should ask, because both Mark and I were in a program a PhD program where we are doctors of emotional intelligence.
True. It makes me laugh every time you call yourself a doctor. But according to the program, we are. That's where it starts, people. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and listening to some golden nuggets. Take them away. Begin your zero fucks era. Start the journey. Step into it, because I know a lot of you are listening saying, I need to do that. And thanks to Amber J for igniting the spark and fanning the flames. Amber J, it's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. Well, you know, I like to finish on just me. So I'm finishing on just me. Thank you, everyone, again for joining. Stay tuned. Next week, it'll be me again. That's my pattern that I'm stepping into in 2024. We're going to have a guest every other week. And in between, I'm going to step in and do a little solo live and impart some of my knowledge and experience from being a leadership coach for athletes and also for business. Thanks again for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.